Hello. In this video, I will go over the benefits of using name ranges, how to create single name ranges, and how to create multiple name ranges at the same time, how to refer to name ranges in formulas, and 3 ways to create dynamic name ranges. Usually, when writing formulas in Excel, we use cell references or cell addresses to represent range of data. To make the formulas easy to comprehend for us and other people, using the same workbook, we can assign names to groups of cells and then use those name ranges in formulas. In this worksheet, I'm using data of top 10 countries visiting Ontario for the years 2000 to 2017, and these are the numbers of visitors per year in thousands. So let's start writing the formulas with the usual cell reference. So we have here formulas for average number of visitors from UK. So usually you will type average and then select year 2000 and the UK, so B4 to B21, closing parentheses, and this is the average number of people per year. We'll do the same for France. Average, and then we have C4 to C21, closing parentheses, and we have 153,000 average visitors from France. Let's type the sum of total visitors, so it will be sum, open the parentheses, B2 to B21, closing parentheses, 6,734,000 visitors, and then we'll have sum of visitors from France, C4 to C21, closing parentheses, 2,700,000. Let's start creating our first name range. So we go in column B and the UK and select the rows with our data. Going to tab formulas and name range, we see define name range and select that. Excel suggests us to name the range with UK using the header, so that's correct, and we'll click OK. And that's our first name range. You can see it written here, and you can see it under the name manager. When you, for example, go into the drop down and select UK, your name range will be selected automatically, so you can see easily where UK range is and how many of the rows are in this range. Let's create the same for France, selecting France, rows, define name. France is already suggested. Okay, and we have 2 name ranges created. Let's click on name manager, and you can see the values are over here. They're all written and they'll be referred with these 2 names. So how can we use the name ranges in formulas? Type average and then start typing UK. You will see UK was suggested for us. Under here we can double click or just continue typing. I'll double click and close parentheses. Let's see France average, and I'll type France. It's not case sensitive, so you can type it anyway and you'll get the same result referring France column or France range. Let's go to sum and use it in summary. UK, close. We have exactly the same result, and then we have sum of France. You can see how much easier it is just to refer to name instead of talking about columns and cells like C4 to C21 without knowing what it is. So next thing I want to show you is how you can create multiple name ranges at the same time. So we can go and select all of the cells that we want to create name ranges, and for example we want to have name ranges for each of the countries. So just by selecting, going to the define name group and choosing create from selection, Excel suggests to use the top row as names, which is correct, and we can click OK. So that easy, we created all of the names in 1 second with no effort. You can see the name of South Korea has underscore, and that's because we have a space in the name of the header. So we cannot create names that have spaces. We have to use underscore or just avoid any spaces. So next thing, let's try creating multiple names for the rows, for the ears. So selecting those ears, going back, create from selection, and then use left column. Okay. What happened? It didn't work. So name ranges cannot be created with names that are starting with numbers. So how we can go about that and change it? I would suggest one way is to replace the year 2000 with Y 2000, and the same for the rest of the years. So I'll do find and replace, and I'll replace 20 with Y20. And this way we can create our name ranges and then revert back to the normal. You can see now we can start using those name year ranges, but we don't want to see them like that, so we'll go back to find and replace and change it from Y20 to 20 to our original state. So easy as that, you can create multiple name ranges. Another way of using name ranges is in data validation. So I'll show you here how we can use data validation for country, year, and find the visitors. So first, let's create a name for the countries, and we go back to our defined name and name it country. Okay, and then we'll define the years from selection using the top row. Okay, so now go to data and create data validation using list, and our source will be called country. Okay, and easy as that, we have all countries here, and then the next source will be called year. Okay, and now we have years as well. Let's start with selecting something, Germany 2000 for example, and write a formula that will bring us the visitors. So we can use VLOOKUP and look up the year 2000 in our table. Let's use F4 to lock it. And now we have to show the column, and how we can show the column is using match our country name into our country list. We're going to use country list, and our match type will be exact 0. However, because in the country list we are not using column A, we'll add 1 to our column number in order to get the correct result. And then the exact match for the VLOOKUP will be false, and close the parentheses, and 191 is Germany in 2000, year 2000. How to update and delete names. You just need to go to the Formula tab and go to the Name Manager. And for example, we want to change the name of S_Korea to S Korea, or remove the underscore. We can click Edit and update the name here. Clicking OK. The name is already updated, and that's fast. If you want to delete a name range, you just select the name range. Let's select, for example, you can select multiple at the same time and delete them. Excel will ask you whether you're sure you want to do that, and you have to be sure before doing that. And when you close, you can see France lost the reference because this name doesn't exist anymore. So make sure that you want to delete something like that before deleting it. Make sure that it's not used in any formulas, and they're not going to be broken for you. Moving on to dynamic name ranges. Why using dynamic name ranges when Excel tables are available? The main reason is compatibility. Name ranges are compatible with Excel 2003 and earlier versions, while the tables are not. And also, you can refer to just the columns of name ranges in formula, and it will be shorter than referring to a table name plus the column name. Another reason is name ranges can be ranges of rows, while in tables you cannot refer to rows. In this worksheet, we have data for total visitors to province of Ontario for year 2000 to year 2017. In column B, we have total number of visitors. Column C, we have only from Ontario. Column D is other parts of Canada. Column E is visitors from US, and column F, visitors from overseas or other countries. In our example here, we're going to do sum of total of column B. So before starting doing that, we'll create our first name range of column B. B2 to B19, define the name. We're going to use total as name, which is the header of column B, and click OK. And then in I2, we can type sum and use the total name as reference. Close the parentheses, and we have 2,400,000 visitors in total. But this is not a dynamic range. So if we add 150,000 to B20 and 160,000 to B21, which is year 2019 and year 2018, our sum of total doesn't change. So how can we make this work and change? We're going to use some nested formulas, and we'll start with sum and then use offset. So offset, we'll use B1 as our reference cell and lock it with F4. And then we need row 1 because we want to start with B2, and then column 0 because we're using column B. So now we have to have a number of rows. So in order to get this number of rows, we have to have it dynamically calculated every time this happens, every time something has been added to column B. So we're going to use count. So function count calculates any number in a range. So it will count only from B2 to B19 and will not count B1 because in B1 we have text and not a number. So we'll have column B as our referencing count and lock it with F4, close the parentheses, and then we'll finish the offset formula with 1 for the width. And closing the formulas and closing the sum parentheses, we'll get this total number. So now if we add 150,000 to B20, the sum formula is updated. We're going to use the part from offset to here as our to define our total name range. So copy and go to name manager and update. We can update it over here, or we can click edit and update it there. So instead of the initial range, we're going to paste the offset formula. Okay, and now we have the formula working dynamically. If we add 160,000, it will be updated. The second way of doing this dynamically is again using offset and count, but this time count A, which will count the same column and gets back to you the number of rows that are not empty. And because we want only the number of rows from B2 onwards, we're going to -1 in the column number. So we're going to use -1 over here and then copy this portion and add it to our name range. Copy, go to the name manager, remove anything that is already there, close. Yes, do you want to save changes? Yeah. So now if we add 150,000, it will change, and 160,000 will update again. The third way is a lot more easier, and I would suggest using that, but be careful not to have any other numbers outside of your table on top or below, because it will be counted in any formulas as well. So how we can do that is in the name range, and we just refer to our column address, and I'll use the absolute column address, so B to B, close, and it works the same way. However, if you type something outside, it will be calculated, so be careful when you're using it. Over here I have the formulas for reference if you want to see how they look. I hope this is useful for you. Of course, name ranges make your formula much easier to understand. Take some time to create a few name ranges, make some dynamic name ranges, start using them in formulas and see the benefits of that. Make sure that when you're creating name ranges, you don't leave spaces, you don't start with numbers, and please also do not use abbreviated names like AB25, because this is similar to cell reference and will not be accepted, or it will mess up with your formula, so it won't be correct for you, it won't help you. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe and share with your friends. See you again.